Hi everyone. I just filmed the watercolor video and I had a little bit of time, so I thought I'll quickly do a page in my insert, and then I thought, why don't I share this process with you? So I'll just talk you through quickly what I have done so far. So I might have a video clip of the background, I'm not entirely sure, but if I do, I'll try to insert it. Okay, so what I have done here is basically I have pulled out my Prima confections in the classic and tropicals, and I decided to make a layout. So here I've used gesso and I used some of my Schmincke watercolors, which I decided it's a little bit of a waste because Schmincke is artist grade, and you know there is really no point of using high quality watercolors for something like this. It's only a little bit of a kind of abstract watercolor blooming effect that I'm trying to achieve here, so there is no need for expensive watercolors. So I bought Prima before I started learning about watercolors and the difference between artist grade and student grade, the formulation, the pigments, etc, etc. So I then kind of stopped using it because I fell in love with my Daniel Smith and Schmincke and Mijello and St. Petersburg White Nights, and those became my 4 favorite watercolors which I would use on a regular basis. And then these kind of had no space anymore because they just wouldn't compare in terms of quality. However, I am now happy that I rediscovered them because for this type of thing they're just perfect. So the tropicals have they don't have that sort of like a lemon yellow, as you can see, so I really like this number 16. They don't have color names, so that's this kind of green. I really like that. It's a little bit like a olive yellowish green, or sort of like a, it's not really an olive green but something between green and a yellow, so it looks really pretty. The yellow that they have is quite dark. It's like a gamboge yellow, I'd say. But let's have a look at this one, which is the classics, and that has this perfect lemon yellow, and I really like the orange as well. So the orange compared to that one, this one is a lot deeper. It's like a more darker orange, whereas this one is nice and kind of tangerine-like. So I've used a few of these colors and I created this background and it worked. So what I have discovered, what I like doing a lot, is the collaging. So I do like to use watercolors, and in this case, so on this page I have used gesso and Schmincke watercolor, and then I decided, why don't I start using my cheaper watercolors, which are the Prima confections. And so this is what I used for this background. I used a mix of tropicals and mix of the classics, and so it's basically, it doesn't really matter for a background because I'm going to cover up most of it, and it's, you know, I feel like I'm wasting Horadam Schmincke. I just don't want to do this for backgrounds, although it does look much better. But having said that, it's on gesso, this page, so I wonder if the Prima confections were applied on top of gesso, whether they would look more interesting as well. So I'll try that next time. So I had some kind of pages from magazines that I ripped out, and yesterday I was trying out this kind of script which I really enjoy. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that because it's so easy. I'm not great at brush lettering. I have tried that. I have bought the Tombow jewel pen, and it just is so difficult. It's incredibly hard, and it's not what I anticipated. I thought it would be so easy. So I found a way to use an interesting script which is really easy, and it kind of breaks it down a little bit and makes it more interesting rather than just writing in your regular writing. So I kind of was trying that out, so I thought, why don't I use it today, because today is a Friday obviously, and it kind of all worked. And this article was about allergies, so how since it has the connotation of health here. And then there was a photograph with someone's floral illustration instead of the head, and the woman was holding her head kind of, and all these kind of flowers are exploding. So that was really kind of cool way of combining illustration. And so I kept that and I thought I'll use it. So then for some reason I teared one piece out and I realized I had another one, so I just decided to stick them down. And I stuck them down using this multimedia mat. It's by Ranger. I'm hoping it's not my armchair currently being delivered. They're supposed to deliver it 10 minutes ago, but it's not there yet. So anyway, so this is the matte medium, which you can collage, you can stick with, you can use it as glue, you can use it on top. And so I have used it a few times. I like it better than some liquid glues because they tend to make the page very hard and crisp, where this one doesn't do it. I have done another layout last night where I experimented with it, and here what I've done is at the back, because I ordered only a small bottle because I want to try and see whether I actually like it, so I didn't want to waste too much of it. And at the back I just used my Tombow. So at the back I used the Tombow adhesive tape, and then on top I decided to then apply the medium matte, the multimedia matte. And then what happened was I got a little bit of bubbling going on because I hope you can see that. That is because the back had some air pockets because the adhesive wasn't covering it all. So I realized it's not everywhere. Some of them have some, like this one is perfectly straight, so I'm not sure why some of these are also straight. Only a few bubbles up here, but it creates that. So here I didn't apply it on this page, and so this is the original magazine paper, which has a bit of a gloss to it, and here you can see there is no gloss because of the matte medium. It has kind of mattened it out, but it's a very nice kind of soft feeling matte. It doesn't, you know, make it look like dry textured or anything like that. So I do like that quite a lot, and hence I decided to then try and actually put it at the back and use it as glue and then apply it on top as well. And that worked really well, so there is no bubbling, it's very smooth. Here I haven't used it on top because I've got this ink which is not water soluble, so it would definitely have, it would have smeared it, so I didn't, it would have smudged it, so it wouldn't be a good idea. So that's how far I came, and now I'm kind of having this idea of using Jane Davenport's face stamp again. And the idea is that I somehow create a face where there is supposed to be a face, and then add some more flowers so that I have kind of flowers in the background as well as on top. So I'm not entirely sure what exactly I want, but that's the fun of the inserts. So let's go ahead and do that. I also just wanted to say quickly that when I applied the matte medium, I could then go over and doodle, and it would be different if I went and tried to doodle on these sort of printed colored pages. It's the ink sometimes doesn't stay, and on the matte it kind of adheres a little bit better, so that's what so it's good for that reason as well. So I've got my archival ink by Ranger, and I'm just going to so I'm really looking forward to organizing my room a little bit better, because at the moment I don't have enough storage for my art supplies, and I have loads of beauty products as well from my older, you know, I used to write a beauty blog and things like that, so I've got still that. I just need to grab a block, an acrylic block, and basically everything is still a little bit, you know, all over the place, and it would be good to have a bit more organized. So I'm kind of trying to finally finish my studio. That, I mean, it's almost kind of done, but I just need a few more pieces of furniture and that will be then finished. So I think I will try and take out the neckline. So last time I didn't like it because I felt the neck was a bit too much, so I'm just going to go ahead and just take them off. Also, I don't like the ears, they sit too high up for my liking, so I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to kind of position the face roughly here. Okay, so the ink has moved a little bit because it probably still has a little bit of, like, it's like a satin kind of, it's a satin finish, I find, although it's a matte medium, but it still sort of has a little bit of a slip to it. So you have a choice of eyes, noses and lips. I've gone for the closed kind of look, but I don't think I will leave them closed. I will try and create my own kind of things. I'm just going to look ahead and decide where I want them. So I think about here is good. So I kind of like that sort of background and kind of layering images. So to clean my stamps, I just kind of go ahead and kind of do that on a clean dry tissue. I found that cleaning them with baby wipes just kind of doesn't work really well because of the I don't know, the cotton or something just starts to fall apart, and all you get like these little bits and pieces on your stamps, which are really annoying to get rid of. So for the nose, let's see, for the nose I'll use this small one. So I'll probably put it around here like that. And then lips, I don't want to stamp in black because obviously they're just going to be black lips. I think I'm going to just try and see whether I can create some sort of color and then use it that way. So I picked my lips over here and I decided to try something new. So I used my Derwent Inktense in Poppy Red, and I love these pencils. So it's like, it's quite intense. I'm going to go in with the watercolor and then try and put it on top of the stamp, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. So I'm just going to do that, and no, it doesn't seem to work very well. Okay, so the other option would be, what if I try watercolor? I'm just going to clean my brush really quickly, and maybe that will work. I just want to find an interesting way of doing it. So there's a nice bright red, this one here in the Classics. So I'm going to really make it creamy, put it on my mat, get it quite wet, get a lot of it here, I don't know if it's going to work because it's speeding up again. And then I'm just going to put my stamp into this watercolour. And there is quite a bit here, so I don't know if it's going to work or not, so I'm going to try. Press it down. Well, it sort of worked. It doesn't work that well as well, so it was too much there, but if it's not that much, I mean, it's hard with watercolor, yeah, it has to be an ink, so I'm just going to try to correct it where I can. Like that, and then I'm going to also give her some cheeks. And I'm just going to try kind of create like a watercolor effect on there. So that probably should be enough in terms of cheek.